Have you ever had such a vague memory of something happening that you're not quite sure that it actually happened? And do any of you have really sarcastic family members that might ridicule you until you cry for falsely remembering something and looking like a fool? I love my family. We have an amazing relationship, but man, do they sure know how to make you feel dumb. So I sat on this memory for a long time trying to decide whether it was worth bringing up or not. I was sure how close I am to my mom that she would have told me about this before, but apparently I was wrong. I'm sure she was just looking out for me, but finding out for myself what really happened has been a little tough. But anyways, I'll try to get into what happened now and be as descriptive as possible. I grew up in a rather large family. We lived in a small town in Virginia. There was never too much going on. It was the stereotypical small town vibes. Everyone knew everyone and nothing bad ever happened. Now I'm 22 and my family and I have moved across the country a good 10 years ago and have never gone back to visit. So up until just recently, I really did believe that nothing horrible happened there. But I guess I was wrong about that. I have an older sister who happens to be only about 11 months older than me. I've been told that we're called Irish twins, so growing up, my parents basically raised us as legitimate twins. Dressed us the same, our hair always looked the same, the whole deal. Anyways, we were best friends, and we did everything together. We lived in one of the nicer homes in town, and we had one of the largest backyards in my neighborhood, full of trees, lots of places to hide when you're playing hide and seek, enough yard space to have an awesome game of kickball almost every evening. The neighborhood kids were playing with us in the yard, so my sister and I would spend every spare second out in that magical yard doing whatever to pass the time. I believe it was Christmas one year. My parents got us a nice set of walkie talkies for Christmas. I must have been 5 or 6, my sister would have been 6 or 7, so this was like the coolest thing that they could have gotten us. We used those damn things constantly, but they were especially nice to have while we were outside playing. So let me pause everything real quick and remind you guys, I live in a small town. My mom had lived here her whole life. The stranger danger didn't really occur to us, because we knew everyone. Even if I didn't know them personally, my parents did, or they knew my grandparents, or my great-grandparents that were still living in that town. No one has ever worried. Nothing bad had ever happened. I don't exactly know how long this took place, as my memory is still very vague and most of the information I've been able to verify has just been news articles. None mentioning my sister or I because my parents wanted us to remain anonymous, so I'm piecing together the few things I remember and the articles that I have read. I know that it was winter. My sister and I had those cute overall snowsuits and we were playing outside and we were using our new walkie-talkies. Everything had been normal, just our usual banter and our little kid crap, until we heard a man start talking to us through the walkie-talkies. I don't think we were scared. I think we thought it was super cool to have someone new to talk to. And I also remember the man telling us he was either 15 or 14. Even though he sounded much older, we believed him because we were young and naive. It started off with normal conversation topics, like what we like to do for fun, our favorite games to play, stuff like that. The days started going by and we'd rush outside to get on our walkie-talkies to talk to him more. But we weren't supposed to tell our parents. He made sure to tell us that. He said that if our parents found out, they might not want us to talk anymore, and neither my sister and I wanted that to happen. Now, like I said, I don't know if we're talking for days, weeks, or months. I don't remember how long it took it all to go down, but if I were to guess, I'd probably say our communication probably went on for a week or 2. The questions started becoming more personal: if we went to school, which school we went to, what our best friends' names were, if our parents ever left us home alone. All stuff that really didn't feel too out of the ordinary to us, but in retrospect, it was very alarming. The last day of our communication, we had been talking like normal to this man, whose name we never got, by the way, and I remember him asking us if our pink snowsuits kept us warm. I'm sure we had never told him about our clothing, especially what we had been wearing that evening, and when he asked us about what our address was, even though I had a feeling now that he knew our address and had been watching us for God knows how long, maybe he was just trying to verify that he was talking to the correct children. Thankfully, neither of us knew our address. It wasn't ever anything that we had to know at that point in our life. Shortly after he asked us that, We were called inside to eat dinner. While we were eating, someone knocked on the front door, which wasn't terribly uncommon, so my sister and I continued eating while my dad answered the door. When he hadn't come back quickly, my mom went to see what was going on. I remember peeking down the hallway and seeing a police officer standing in our doorway. That was definitely out of the ordinary in my house. They told our parents that we had been talking to a predator on our walkie-talkies and had been giving them personal information about us. And there had been a string of child abductions in the country surrounding us. Apparently, he'd park in different neighborhoods and try to pick up conversations between young-sounding children. He'd gain their trust and get them to reveal invaluable information, making sure that they were his type, and then he would swoop in and the children would never be seen again. I assumed that they had a walkie-talkie or something and were listening to our conversation as well, and that made the police aware, but I'm not positive about it. At the time, the only thing that my parents told us is that we couldn't play with our walkie-talkies anymore and that we need not talk to strangers and not tell people certain things like when mommy and daddy go to work, where we go to school and stuff like that. I had no idea who the man was until recently, when I started having the overwhelming urge to figure out what these memories were, if they were memories at all. My research made a lot of this information come back to me and it helped me remember a lot more of what happened. Whereas before I found out what had happened, all I really could remember was talking to a man on our walkie-talkies, asking him about our pink snowsuit and the police showing up and not getting to talk to him anymore. Apparently, he had abducted 4 children within 4 surrounding countries where we lived. The man had never been found though, and I think he had been surveilling my house, and when he saw the police come to the door, he fled. They are sure that the same man is from all of the kidnappings. The common factor had been the walkie-talkies. There was no more walkie-talkie kidnappings in Virginia, at least, and my searchings hadn't pulled any more up in the US. Maybe he stopped altogether, or maybe he switched up his luring methods. But all I do know is that I'm lucky being a stupid kid didn't get me killed. I've tried talking to my mom about it all, but she's apprehensive about giving me any information. All she's really told me is what the police officer told her. And I'm sure that's not all that he told her. I haven't told my sister either. I don't know what she knows or what she remembers or if she's locked it up all this time like I have. But I don't think I'll tell her, since I'll be okay with never having known any of this. Maybe I'll just keep my mouth shut for now. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was really interesting to read. Honestly, you can never be too careful. Alright people, stay safe and stay savvy.